Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I thank all of the chairpersons as well. I would like to acknowledge the words of Emily Dickinson. She reminds us that a word is dead when it is said, some say. I say it just begins to live that day. And I call these words to our attention because it's my belief that the tone and tenor is usually set at the top. The captain of the football team, the CEO of the corporation, the head of the nation. And I am concerned when I read in the intelligence that's been accorded us that soon after the March 2019 attack at Christchurch, New Zealand, President Trump expressed doubt that white nationalism was a rising threat around the world. That causes me a good deal of consternation. Quickly respond, if you would, to the words of the person who sets the tone and tenor.
I believe that it is essential for us to have bipartisan support across the board to see white nationalist terrorism, white supremacist extremism as a critical threat to the nation. So yes, from the top down, but in every local community as well, from leaders and across the board.
This is neither a Democratic or a Republican problem. This is a problem of American national security. And I would say that, just back to what I said earlier, there were words that I wrote 25 years ago that manifested in death with somebody like Dylann Roof, and we must be responsible for the words that we say, because while most people may not act on those words, we know that there are some people who will. We've seen the effects of that. So I think certainly we must all measure our words when it comes to something so sensitive.
And we feel the bully pulpit is tremendously important, and all our leaders, political and otherwise, need to be held accountable and responsible for the words that they share, and also for standing up and calling things out exactly as they see it. So words matter, and I think all our leaders should be unequivocal about what is going on in our country today.
Were there any nice people among the folk who were screaming blood and soil? Jews will not replace us at Charlottesville. Any nice people among them?
Sir, in my job, I have to believe that there were nice people there because it is my job to try and pull them out. However, I think the statement of very fine people there was a very dangerous one because it did equivocate two things that were not equal.
Finally, this, I've lived a long time. Sometimes I think I've lived too long, to be quite honest. I've seen what racism can do to people. And I marvel now at how I've lived long enough to see the Klan come out of the robe, take the hoods off, march the streets openly and notoriously. I quite frankly, 20 years ago, would not have prognosticated that such would be the case. Something has happened to give them reason to believe that they can show their faces. Please, I have 1 minute left. What happened? Okay.
A lot of things have happened that have brought, I would say, the underlying racist, things that people used to hide out. So it's not just the fringes coming, it's that the racism has moved more into the mainstream. And I think we're seeing that the way that social media operates, the kind of rhetoric that we hear from political leaders and in the media has legitimized and reinforced those words. And I think the kind of manifestos and the global circulation of videos seems to empower these people as well.
I know that you all have salient answers, but I have to ask this question quickly. Do you believe that those who tolerate bigotry and hate perpetuate it? Toleration, perpetuation, acceptance, perpetuation? Please respond.
If I might, there are two things that extremists love, and that's silence and violence. When we ignore them, they grow. When we are violent against them, they use that as a victim narrative. And if we are quiet about what is happening in the world today, if we are not speaking truth to it, it will grow. It will fester like it has for 400 years. And we have an opportunity, I think, right now as a learning moment to really acknowledge the problems, the failures that we've made, and work towards a solution that works for everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You've been more than kind.